Well, good day, tubes. How's she hanging? Pretty good here. We're just heading down to the building here. Got something to show ya. Ooh, shiny. Let's get in and have a look. All right, this lovely, I'm going to call it a flange, is from the John Deere AR. Pardon me. So what happens here is this gets mounted onto the tractor, bolted on. I just wanted to show you this. It's going to be a quickie video today, but just wanted to show you this and kind of what I had to go through to get this thing cleaned up anyways. These are the bolts that go through, that bolt into the tractor. So you tighten, 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 but you can only tighten so far. You got to leave that little hole exposed so you can run a wire through it and then twist the wire at the end. So because this thing is totally covered by the clutch, I'm going to get the clutch back up here in a second, and I'll show you why they wire tied these guys. Now this is, of course, I'm going to use Loctite on mine. I'm going to use some blue Loctite and tighten them up, and then she should be good. Shouldn't come undone, hopefully. Shouldn't anyways. Blue Loctite's good. It is removable, but it's good for vibrating and vibrations and stuff like that, so it should be fine. So the other part of the tractor, so the big tractor is here on behind it, right? This thing goes on the tractor, and then the shaft sticks out from the crankshaft, and then your clutch goes on through here, and that part with the adjusting goes in here. So this thing, I think it originally was a two-part thing, but they, believe it or not, back then pinch welded it. I can see it looks like a little dent. There's one there, one there. You can't quite see them so much from this side, but believe it or not, back then they must have had something that they could just and pinch weld it, I guess. I don't know. This is the flange side here. This gets what's mounted on the tractor. So I had this all painted nice. I just sanded all this off this morning because I want it a good clean flat surface. But you can see, like there, it's like a dent right from the pinch weld. So there's one there, one there, one there, one there, one there. So I'm like, that's kind of cool. Been neat if I could have got this off, because then these two pieces would come off and I could have cleaned in here a little better, because I think what happens when it's mounted on the tractor, it's kind of weird, but the oil doesn't kind of get through here because of the shape of the flange here, because there's no real seal. There's no seal at all on here. This just kind of fits through, and you put the other thing through, and away you go. But technically your oil level shouldn't be that high that it's going to get up and get out anyway. So yeah, so but this in here was all just caked right out full of junk and gooey stuff, and all down in here was real bad, all like caked with stuff. There was a gasket on here. It just fell right off. So I'm just going to use my Permatex stuff, I think, and it's like a, well, I showed you the other day there. It's in my toolbox, I think, now. But anyways, I'm going to use that on both sides. But it is kind of, you know, it's got to only go on one way. So you can see these two holes are closer than, you know, these three together, right? So it only goes one way. It's pretty self-explanatory. This looks like it's a wear or something. I don't know. That's kind of weird. I thought maybe the clutch had hit that or something, but seems kind of odd. But anyways, let's get the clutch back up here and show you kind of how it fits together with this thing here. All right, put that back in my pocket. Grab the big clutch here. Oh, they don't make them very light anymore. That's for sure. Wish this was lighter, but no plastic there. Everything's good with that. Remember, we rebuilt this all the other day. Then I gotta put it back together on the tractor. Okay, so that's the way it would sit. Your tractor would be here, right? Big tire here. Big tires like right here, tractor engine, and the other tires up here. So fortunately you have to take the tire off to get this thing right off, which kind of sucks. But and this goes into great big huge gear in the big gear case there that's hooked to the rear axle. So this actually gets mounted on here, like about there somewhere. There, and actually it sort of rides a little bit inside the flange here. Let's get you down a bit closer here. Alright, so, pardon me, this thing would stay stationary. It's mounted to the tractor, right? But basically when you're doing your clutching, that's how pretty much it keeps the oil from kind of going through there. So she's a good, snug, tight fit, that's for sure. But there's no gaskets, there's no nothing in there. So it's really interesting how, you know, how things were built back then. Kind of sits right about there, I think. It doesn't kind of go kind of right in. It's about there somewhere. So, but that's to keep the oil. But as I see it now, it's kind of weird because it would kind of, this thing would kind of, I think it spins the way where it would kind of sort of funnel the oil into here. But then after that, really there's nowhere for any auxiliary oil to go to. Other than out the bottom of the clutch. It would drain out here and on the ground probably if it got an excess, but like I say, it wouldn't get that much. It would get quite a bit onto the gear and stuff here because this is actually right inside the tractor. And this guy gets right inside pretty much too, I guess, and it, you know, channels a bit up. I guess just to lube things inside a little bit, but I don't know. But that's it's kind of interesting how they made these things work back then, and the difference too from this unstyled one to the styled one was a lot different. They had changed quite a few things, I guess, inside these clutches. Pretty much the same kind of mechanism, but there was another great big gear on the big drive that I have to mount onto the other side. The big drive disc. That's the actual part that when you pull your clutch, it pushes, the pressure plate pushes against this drive disc, and then like the drive disc is always going because it's actually screwed onto the crankshaft. And then when you put your clutch in, it squeezes everything together, and then everything starts to move, right? So it's pretty cool how it works. But yeah, I just wanted to show you that. And this thing, oh boy, it was quite a job to get this cleaned up. But I hadn't done it, and I'm like, oh no, I'm not gonna worry about that. Then I went and looked at it, and I looked, and the wire tie was broken. I'm like, oh okay, well, I think I'm gonna get it all apart now and clean up the this flange on the tractor too is nice and clean now. And she should be be all good to go back together now, so should be awesome. But yeah, but this was dirty. Got her into the parts cleaner, and I pretty much have to clean my fluid in my parts cleaner now. It was that bad. Change it anyways and give it a flush out maybe. There was a lot of real grimy, like down in here especially. There was a lot of grimy, like dirty, chunky stuff. So I got all out, and then scraped as much as I could out, and then washed it in the parts washer, and then let her dry for about half a day, because that stuff actually does kind of dry off. It's kind of weird. You would think it would stay kind of oily, but it actually does dry off. So, and then I got it in the sandblaster and gave her a good sandblasted, and then primed her up, and then both sides, and then painted her. Took a couple of days to get it painted to one side and flip it to the other side. And good. So, but that is the classic John Deere green, where somebody's painted this. It might not come up too well on camera, but it's a lot darker kind of a color, and it just doesn't look right. But I'm not going to paint the whole tractor. If I was going to do that, boy, I'd have to get one of those, or rent one of those heated pressure washers and really go at her real good and try to get the front end up so you can get underneath real good, get all the, because this was painted, let me think now. Let's pull this back off of here again. This thing was painted where they could get to, I guess, because they never took everything apart, but all down in here and stuff was crusted, painted, crusted stuff. So I cleaned it off, and actually found a little bit of the original paint underneath too, which was kind of neat. So, and then away she went. So, but anyways, that is it for that today. I just wanted to share that with you, and I'm going to probably get this reassembled soon. And get on to what I want to do next with it, which was hopefully drain out the antifreeze and see if I can get the hose replaced. It's pretty tricky finding a 3-inch inner diameter hose that's about, ooh, how long is that hose? It's a fair chunk. If anybody down in the US of A, it's at least, oh, it's at least 24 inches, but I think it's even a bit longer. No, my luck, it's probably 29 inches, but anyways, If anybody knows down there where to get one of those, if there's one place in town I haven't tried yet, they might be able to, but I gotta look into it. So, but I want to replace that hose, I think, and I gotta figure out too why. When I did have it out plowing, and I could pull in first gear just barely, it actually like engage and okay, let's go. I think if it was dragging too much, it would have been screwed. This thing was having so much problems. I want to figure out why it was running really hot. To me, it seemed like it was running really hot, and the other guys that was there, his wasn't running that hot. So I don't know if my gauge isn't reading right, or the sensor's not reading right, or if it was running hot. I don't know. So I didn't have my temp gun with me that day to actually temp anything. So I don't know. I want to figure out what I got to do with that. It seemed like it was running really hot, and I didn't kind of really like that. I only went down the one row there once. So that video is on my channel. Can't exactly remember the name of it, but it was the John Deere 2-cylinder plow day or something like that, I think it was called. So, but it was a good day. I wish I could have plowed more. Well, this thing let me down. So, but hopefully she's good now. Everything's clean. Everything's dry. Everything's been polished. Really nice. All the surfaces and, you know, underneath, and the other parts have all been cleaned and polished, and they should be all right, hopefully. So yeah, this is fun, because once this gets mounted back on, I got to thread all this thing through that, holding it to get it in. Mind you, it's on the shaft too, though, so that kind of helps. But I'm going to lube up the shaft good too with probably some gear oil of some sort. And I don't think you'd grease this. I think the gear oil would probably be lots, and once it's in there, it'll get splashed around, and should be good. Because this isn't a bang-on perfect 100% fit, or it wouldn't. You'd end up scoring this thing real bad. So, but yeah, that's it. Thanks again for watching. We'll catch you all later, and you guys have a good day.